Hello all and welcome to this late afternoon, early evening beer review. It's Friday, of course, my one day where I don't actually have a salary job, but I do yard work for money. That's right, I work 7 days a week, people, so I can have money to buy beer and tobacco. And as you can see, it's almost sunset, hence you can actually see what it kind of looks like out there right now. And I just got finished hedging and weed whacking and mowing for several hours. So I wanted a beer that would fit the occasion. And I looked in the 2017 Beer Camp, Beer Across the World box set, and we have here a dry hopped Berliner style Weisse. Why Berliner style instead of just plain Berliner Weisse? Or Weisse? Well, because I believe Berliner Weisse is a regional appellation. So basically, you can only use it if it's actually made in Berlin. And, so this is not made in Berlin. It's made in Texas by St. Arnold Brewing Company. And let's read the label, shall we? Texas St. Arnold Brewing takes a broad view of beer styles, mastering everything from traditional German-inspired recipes to big experimental creations. Together, we teamed up to brew this dry-hopped Berliner-style Weisse. Featuring a fruit-forward hop character backed up by a snap of mild tartness, it boasts a flavor that's complex, compelling, and very drinkable. So, Berliner Weisse, if you don't know, is one of the styles of sours. And as you know, I love sours. This one is 4.2 ABV, and it is, kind of different. It's Americanized because of the dry hopping. Traditional Berliner style of Weisses are usually intensely sour and were traditionally drunk with a sweet fruit syrup. This one doesn't have a fruit syrup added to it. It's been dry hopped, so it should have hoppy characteristics. So, I'm going to pour this into a lager glass. This is something... Ooh! That's tart. Ooh, wow, this has got a lot of fizz. Better be careful. Seems a hair darker than other sours I've had. Almost towards a lager-like yellow coloration. Hints of gold in the deepest part. Very well carbonated, you can see in the video here. And slightly cloudy. Head is thick. Got a little bit of dust in there. Thick, foamy, and white, and very resilient for low ABV beer. Oh my goodness. Got wheat funk there, but that's not the main element. We got a tart smell that is deeply funky in fruity ways. It seems like the hopping is really interacting with the sourness here. That high acidity to create some really interesting smells. Sort of a mineral edge with very zesty kind of fruitiness to it. Strong mineral edge, actually. Almost like a chalky mineral edge, in a pleasant way. Mixing well with this kind of fruitiness is high zest fruit. Not too much dimension to that fruitiness. And of course, like I said, sort of a base malt smell of, wheat. Okay, let's go and drink this. Wow. That is indeed tart. Well, this is the tartest sour I've ever had. Intensely tart and sour in the front. And gradually, which kind of recedes fairly quickly, to into the mid to finish a sort of intense, almost herbaceousness. Funky wheat base on the tongue. The residual sourness is almost like unsweetened sweet tarts on the tongue. It's almost like the bitterness of the hops is being overwhelmed by the acidity of the tartness, and you've kind of got like the more effervescent style old world hop flavors of herbaceousness and grassiness kind of melding there with that dry sourness. The finish has a really odd note to me, which I can't quite place. It's almost like herbaceous to the point of being grassy tasting a bit in the finish. There's some fruit there, but it's really overwhelmed by the malt base, the sourness. And I would guess like the hoppiness. Doesn't say what kind of hops this is here. By a snap of mild tartness. No. Mild tartness is au travers. And this is full deal tartness here. This is mild tartness. I kind of wonder what the Westbrook Goza is like, which I say is the tartest of the tart. All in all, as I'm drinking this kind of weird taste in, the finish is kind of disappearing. Maybe it was the fact that, you know what, I think it was the fact that I had a kale salad before I went and reviewed this, so I might have just been reacting poorly with the kale that was left over on my palate. So please excuse me for that. That was probably my bad right there, so I'm going to try to do a little bit better this time. In retrospect, yeah, there is a bit more fruit in the finish. There is still that sort of sweet tarts, residual flavor, mineral kick, even in the finish. And honestly, even though it says that the hops should be more present, I still find the tartness far more intense in the hopping. All in all, an interesting sour. Like I said, I really, really want to experiment more with the style. Kind of difficult because they are difficult to make. And not many people transport them here to Hawaii. But this is definitely something I would go and pick up a sixer of. Yeah, it definitely does have a bit more hops than I've had in any other sour style. Again, it's just overwhelmed by the acidity of the sourness. It does create some interesting afternotes on the palate and the finish. So, this has reached 10 minutes. Again, I'm going to say it outright. Please disregard what I was saying about the weird notes in the finish at the beginning of this review. I just kind of recalled, well, that was probably what I ate beforehand, which was a kale salad. High acidity, probably just went and activated what was left on my tongue in a pretty weird way. And, you know, this is actually a pretty solid sour. Sad that it's only a limited edition. Even though it says it's dry hop, don't really have much hop flavors that I can suss out. It is nicely tart. It does have some interesting taste notes of high minerality and, you know, interplay between slightly higher hopping and sourness in the finish. You know, like I said, this beer camp, go and try them. Gotta catch them all. That's your beer review for tonight, folks. Cheers.